Yo, what is going on, guys? Such a 322 here, and I'm the coach of the Portland Timbers. And today, guys, I have for you another ASL video. And in this ASL video, I'm going to be going over my draft recap or draft analysis, however you would like to say it, for my team in the fourth season of the All-Star Showdown League, also known as the ASL. So last season, we made a pretty fantastic run, if I do say so myself. We were the fifth seed going into the playoffs and ultimately made our way to the championship. Unfortunately, we lost to my good friend Keister in a very close match. That'll be down in the ASL Season 3 folder if you want to go watch the matches. It was a very good match. And the entire ASL Season 3 folder, it's got everything. It's got all the team builders. I just didn't have a draft recap in that. I had a end of the season analysis. But here for you guys, I'm going to be talking about my ASL Season 4 team. If you guys didn't see the draft, you don't know what my team is, then you can see what it is now. If you did see the draft, this is still an important video to watch because it gives my reasoning in terms of why I picked each Pokemon. Even if I gave a brief description during the draft or brief reasoning, this is going to be an in-depth analysis. This is like my fifth time trying to record it, so a little bit annoying. File got corrupted and never really had time to do it. Like I would get cut off. So we're here. Anyways, stop jawning. So going into the draft, I had the 14th spot, and I didn't like the 14th spot. I know it's good for wheel. I understand that. I wanted a highly sought after Mon, unfortunately, and yes, the number 14 spot is good for getting two good, very synergistic Mons, which is what I wanted to go after. It's just the problem is my first pick was so sought after in most leagues, but it actually didn't go drafted and actually fell to me at the last pick of the round, and I got Mega Lopunny. Now, Mega Lopunny, let me bring it up here. Mega Lopunny, if you guys don't know, Mega Lopunny is one of the most threatening things in the format. I'm gonna call it Cinnabunny because it's kind of a pun, you know, cinnamon bunny. Just because it looks a little cinnamony. I don't know, whatever. It just sounded good, I guess. But anyways, Mega Lopunny, it's one of the most one-click mons ever, which isn't great in terms of it doesn't show your battler's prowess. But in the ASL, it actually has not done that great at all. It has not been up there for kills. I think it's like 20th or something. Weavile's at the top, which doesn't surprise me, but you know, I figured I'd try my hand at Mega Lopunny. I've used it in the past. I've used it well in my opinion, and I've very much enjoyed using it. But for being such a one-click mon, you know, you have the 135 speed, which is so nice. It outspeeds all those 130s, which are usually at the peak of a draft in terms of speed tiers. You got the 136 attack. But it actually gets a surprising amount of tech. It gets agility baton pass in here. You get drain punch, encore for like stealth rock leads. Fake out, of course. You get all the elemental punches. Grass knot if you wanted to utilize that terrible special attack stat. Heal Bell, Healing Wish. So if there's like, if you're up against like a Mega Sableye wasn't drafted, but Mega Sableye, and you just want to like have a way of beating this Mega Sableye, you just bring Heal Bell and you can beat almost, every variant of Mega Sableye, which is actually really cool. Healing Wish, high jump kick, of course, low kick, magic coat for like an anti-lead, which would be really cool. And stuff like Sleep Talk, Switcheroo is irrelevant. Thunder Punch and Thunder Wave and Toxic and just stuff like that. ASL does have the rule where you don't have to first turn Mega, which doesn't really apply to me in this situation just because Mega Lopunny is infinitely better than normal Lopunny in every way, shape, or form. Yeah, I was really happy to get Mega Lopunny, and it starts off a great offensive core. I mean, you can literally throw this thing on any team, and it already makes it better. That's actually a fact in my opinion. What a contradicting sentence. But it just makes the team better, so it starts on my team very well. So like I said, I did have the wheel pick, and I wanted to get something that could kill bulky psychic types, because that is the best way to stop Mega Lopunny. Although there's no mon in the format, there's no typing combination that can actually resist or be immune to Mega Lopunny because of its scrappy ability. So I went ahead and I picked up Hydreigon, and I didn't want Weavile. Weavile was already gone, so it's fine. But I wanted something that could click some really hard hitting Dark Pulses, and Hydreigon fits the bill. It hits 125 special attack, which is absolutely phenomenal, and a very usable attack stat at 105. The base 98 speed, I actually kind of like that just because it staggers speeds, and Hydreigon can serve as a very good choice scarfer. It's a good Z user. I don't have it as my Z user. As you can see on your screen, the big Z crystals, those are where my Z users are. So you'll see those when they pop up. But Hydreigon, it has a very nice move pool. Acrobatics, Aqua Tail, Body Slam. It gets all of its stabs, Crunch, Dark Pulse, Draco Meteor, Dragon Pulse, Dragon Tail, Earth Power, and Earthquake. Very nice for hitting steel types, along with the Fire Blast, Flamethrower. Flash Cannon for those fairy types. Focus Blast could be interesting for hitting other dark types. That could be nice. And then you get a lot of rock coverage with this Head Smash. It could even run Ice Fang, Rock Slide, Roost if you want to run a bulky set. Like, the bulky set is not bad. 90 defense and 90 special defense coupled with a 92 HP. That's actually very good. That's a very usable HP stat, which with some nice defenses, if I do say so myself. But nice little coverage like Signal Beam, Superpower, Surf, Tailwind, Taunt. I love Tailwind, Taunt. And then U-turn, Try Attack, Zen Headbutt, stuff like that. So I really liked Hydreigon. Oh, I forgot to do the nickname. I feel bad. But Renegade. I felt like Renegade really fit this mon. It's just a fitting nickname, so it's gonna be Renegade throughout the season. So we got Cinnabunny and Renegade. So moving on to my next Pokemon. I originally had wanted Necrozma in this round, but Susie picked it up round 2, so I figured because I wanted it round 3, so I figured, you know what, who doesn't love offense? I want more offense, so I went ahead and I scooped up Thundurus, Therian, and it is going to be my Z crystal, so I'm just gonna put Electrium Z on here. This is my attacking Z user. I'm going to call it ACDC, because if you've ever heard the song Thunderstruck, you know why it's called ACDC. But, yeah, Thundurus Therian, it is absolutely fantastic. I don't like Thundurus Incarnate better. They were both there, and I just decided to pick this up. This thing is honestly a steal in the 3rd round. This was the late 3rd round. So you gotta understand, this was basically 4th round I was getting this thing. It's an absolute value pick in my opinion. And Thundurus Therian just punches holes. So yeah, like I said, this is my attacking Z user. My status Z user will come later in the draft. But this thing is ridiculous. Again, I'm not restricted to Electrium Z. I can use any Z move as long as it's attacking. But this thing, it has no switch-ins, like no definite switch-ins, because this thing just gets phenomenal coverage. It could be a dual dance sweeper with agility, nasty plot. It can run Brick Rake, bulk up's more for the incarnate, but you know, Crunch, Dark Pulse, Discharge, Facade, Flash Cannon, Focus Blast, Foul Play, Grass Knot. It gets knockoff, like I said, nasty plot, Sidekick, Sludge Bomb, Sludge Wave, Superpower, Taunt. It gets its stabs. Toxic, U-turn. It gets U-turn and Volt Switch in one Pokemon. As you can see, I have a U-turn and Volt Switch core here, which I really like. It's very offensive, enforces a lot of switches, which makes that U-switch or Volt turn core even more effective if I can force switches off them. But yeah, I can't think off the top of my head a mon that could swap into this, because ground types are just going to get popped with the Grass Knot and or HP Ice. Grass types are going to get ripped to shreds with a Sludge Wave, and like I said, I could just run like Poisonium Z and just rip through them even more. So like an AV10 growth, I'm doing like 80% if I'm modest with a Poisonium Z, which is absolutely phenomenal. And while I'm talking so much about the special set, because it is a 145 special attacking mon, it has a usable attack stat. Like Hydreigon, it's got the 105 attack, so if I need to do an attacking form, that's fine. But mainly my physical offense is going to come through this Mega Lopunny. But like I said, staggering speed tiers, I really like this. 98 and 101, so that makes the speed creeping a little bit interesting for my opponents, which I do very much like. So moving on to my next mon, I really wanted to get Reuniclus. Unfortunately, I didn't get that. So I I had to do it. I had too much offense at this point. Well, not too much. It's just I had a ton of offense, and I wanted to start building my offensive core. And yeah, I think this was a really good time to start making my defensive core. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna call it Lunar Duck. I think I might call it something else. I don't know. If I call it something else, you guys will know. But anyways, Cresselia here. Cresselia fits very well on this team, in my opinion. It could sponge up basically anything, like a fighting type move that would otherwise threaten the majority of my team. Cresselia can absolutely swap into it. And Cresselia, you can basically build it with his 120 HP, 120 defense, and 130 special defense. You can basically build it to take any hit. Unfortunately, it is relatively passive. With that 70 attack and 75 special attack, but if you set up one Calm Mind, you can start hitting hard. And I really like the speed tier on a defensive Pokemon to be 85, because you can actually run offensive Cresselia. People don't think that that's much of a set, but it definitely is. But Cresselia, it's known for being so fat, and most people hate going up against it. But anyways, it gets Calm Mind, Energy Ball, Grass Knot, Ice Beam. It can be Screens variant, which a screen variant of Cresselia is very good. Lunar Dance could be nice. A Magic Coat to bounce back. Moonlight for recovery. Moonblast for coverage. Then Psychic, Psyshock, and Psycho Cut if I wanted to run physical, I guess, for coverage. And then Rest if I don't want to run Moonlight. You got Shadow Ball, Signal Beam in here. And then Thunder Wave, Trick, Toxic, Zen Headbutt, all that good stuff. And it's a very good Calm Mind. Like, honestly, its best sets are Calm Mind Sweepers, and then Screens variant. Because a Screens variant for a Dual Dance Thundurus, that sounds deadly. Because if my opponent is tremendously weak to Thundurus, like if I get up one Nasty Plot, I win. Or if I get up one Agility, I win. By just setting up like a Reflector or a Light Screen accordingly. And just win the game, that is a very optimal strategy. So moving on from Cresselia, I wanted to further build my defensive core. And I wanted a Moongus, but again, that got sniped. By the way, they were both sniped by Anderson. What you doing, bro? But anyways, I wanted to get a Moongus. That's not what happened. I'm actually very happy with this mon, though. I went ahead and scooped up Ferrothorn. I've used Ferrothorn in the past. I absolutely adore, no, whoops, no, we're not doing shiny. I absolutely adore the, what's it called, the option to run Leech Seed. I absolutely love Leech Seed support. What was I gonna call this? I forget what I was gonna call it. Oh yeah, Free Hugs. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we have Free Hugs the Ferrothorn here, and he just wants a hug. He's giving him out for free. Come on, give this man a hug. But anyways, I really love Ferrothorn. It pairs very well with Cresselia, because Cresselia can soak up really anything that Ferrothorn doesn't want to, fighting or fire. It just absolutely soaks it. And that's the biggest hindrance of Ferrothorn, is it's 4 times weakness to fire. But if Cresselia can basically nullify that, it's absolutely fantastic. But like I said earlier, it gets stuff like Leech Seed, gets Gyro Ball for stab, gets that nice knockoff, and it could Poison Jab, Rock Polish if you want to Rock Polish with that 20 speed. As you can see, I have a little bit of a Trick Room team going on here, like Swords Dance in here. And the biggest advocate for getting Ferrothorn is its Stealth Rocks and access to Spikes. I really like that. And then, of course, Thunder Wave and Toxic down here. But I really like its utility. I have 2 knockoff users now between Ferrothorn and Thundurus. And I really enjoy this. I was really happy to get this pick because Ferrothorn wasn't on my board. To be fair, I was winging it. I basically said to myself, I'm getting Megalopoly, I'm getting Hydreigon. If I'm not, I get Landorus, and I wing the rest of the draft accordingly. So, yeah. Ferrothorn has a decent HP stat. It's okay. It's something to be desired. But it's got a really good defense stat and a pretty good special defense stat. And it's not horribly passive on the offensive side. 94 is not terribly passive. But, yeah. I was very happy to get this thing. So, that is my Tier A draft. And now, moving into Tier B, I know that I have to get a Water type. I gotta get a Water type to pair with this Ferrothorn. And Water types, it would just be such an upgrade to my team. And since I have a lot of coverage for electric and grass, I went ahead and I picked up Slowking. And Slowking might be a little bit interesting for you guys. Just because, like, oh, you already have Cresselia, that's redundant in typing. But yeah, I understand that. Oh, I spelled that wrong. I understand. Oh my god, can I spell today, please? There we go. We're gonna call it Levi's because he definitely has jeans on, or at least he needs a pair of Levi's. But in my opinion, Slowking is the best pickup that you can get in Tier B, at least in the early rounds. And I just saw it, and I had to capitalize on this thing. It's absolutely fantastic. I guess that regenerator ability, which I absolutely love. And yes, while it is redundant typing with Cresselia, like, it's weak to the same things like Ghost and Dark. Like, Megalophony and Hydreigon do not care at all about Ghost and Dark types. They just absolutely rip through them. So again, I'm not restricted to Waterium Z, but this is my all Z user, so that means I get access to stuff like Z Disable, or Z Light Screen, Z Magic Code, Z Nasty Plot, stuff like that. But the biggest advocate here, it's the Z Belly Drum. I really want to utilize Z Belly Drum Slowking. I've tried to use Belly Drum Slowking back in Gen 6. It didn't work, so hopefully Z Belly Drum I can actually pull it off. But Slowking, if you've ever used Slowbro, it plays similar to Slowbro. It's just not as good as a Calm Mind Sweeper, just because it doesn't have the higher base defense. It still has a respectable defense at 80. It's usable. Plus, if you invest all into defense, you get a 284, which is not bad. It's not bad at all. With that 95 HP, it definitely helps. A really good special defense stat and a really good offensive or special attack stat. So this thing can hit hard. It's an all Z user, so I can also use offensive Z moves because it has a decent move pool. Good stuff like Avalanche, Blizzard, Aqua Tail for a physical type, or a physical type variant. Brick Break, Calm Mind, Disable Double Edge, Dragon Tail, Drain Punch, Earthquake, Fire Blast is really nice on this thing. Focus Blast, Foul Play, Grass Knot, Ice Beam, Ice Punch, Nasty Plot, Magico, Light Screen, Power Gem even, that's really nice. Power Up Punch, gets its obvious stabs there. The Skull, the Seismic Toss could be nice. Shadow Ball, Signal Beam, oh my god, I love my walls to have Slack Off. I know Ferrothorn doesn't have a whole ton of reliable recovery. It does have Leech Seed though, so I love my walls having reliable recovery. And then I get some physical moves down here. It also gets Tri Attack, which is interesting. But yeah, I was really happy to get Slowking. Again, it does give me redundant typing, but I definitely love its synergy with Ferrothorn. Its synergy with Ferrothorn is absolutely fantastic. And I was very happy to get this thing, especially since I thought it was gonna go much earlier than it did. So right here we have my first 6 Mons. So going into the second round of Tier B, I had originally picked up Gligar, but I then dropped it a couple, like 20 minutes after the draft, for my boy Piloswine. And I was happy to pick up Piloswine. I originally picked up Gligar because I was like, alright, we'll get a ground type, and this thing gets Stealth Rocks. This is good. And then after the draft, me and Static were talking, and he said, why don't you get Piloswine? And I was like, yo, why don't I get Piloswine? And I scooped up Piloswine. So Piloswine, people overlook it often, but it's actually a very good Pokemon. It's mainly going to run a Violet, yeah. It gets nice thick fat, so it's technically a Bolt Beam resistance. Which is nice. It's always good to have a Bolt Beam resistance, but 60 special defense, yes, it doesn't look that great, but when coupled with an Eviolite, it actually is higher than some base 100 special defense stats, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, it's mainly gonna run the Eviolite just because that makes it the most bulky, and it doesn't have the greatest move pool, like coverage moves such as Ancient Power. It gets Freeze Dries for those water types. Gets nice priority through Ice Shard and stuff like that. Earthquake to hit hard. Stone Edge and Superpower, Rock Slide. That's about all the coverage moves that it gets. But it does get that nice Stealth Rocks, which I like. So I don't have to bring Ferrothorn every match as my Stealth Rocker. I can bring Piloswines in those matches that Ferrothorn just doesn't do well. I know they share a lot of the same weaknesses, but again, that's how it'll be. Plus, I really like Piloswine. Its options. because it does give me priority, which I didn't otherwise have, and it's a good wall. It's a very good wall. Further building my defensive core, which you can see the trend of my draft going from really offensive to really defensive. So going into the next round, I really wanted to round out my fire, water, grass core. It's not the greatest core, I will admit. I mean, I've already rounded out my well, I haven't rounded out my Fairy Dragon Steel core, not yet, but I wanted to complete my Fire, Water, Grass core. I thought this mon was pretty good in terms of not getting any more redundant typings. I went ahead and I skipped up Flareon. I really like Flareon down here. We're going to call it Bonfire. But I really like Flareon down there. It has a pretty poor HP stat, I will say that, but it hits stupid hard on its physical attack. It's a usable special attack, yes. Poor defense, but is very, very much made up in its 110 special defense. I actually really like this thing's capabilities with Ferrothorn as well. This thing synergizes very well with Ferrothorn, giving it that flash fire, being more specially oriented, and Ferrothorn, of course, being a little bit more physically oriented. But yeah, this thing, like Piloswine, doesn't get a whole ton of coverage. It gets like Flare Blitz, Quick Attack, Shadow Ball, and Superpower. That's about it. But it does get that nice Wish, a Baton Pass, a Heal Bell, Toxic, of course, Will-O-Wisp, which is nice. That adds a lot of capability to my team. But yeah, this thing can hit very, very hard. But it also can wish pass to my team, which is very helpful. I do like that, since Thundurus is a little bit weak to rocks, and yeah, it's pretty nice. And this right here, I swear, Showdown is saying the server is restarting soon. I have to burn through this. I'm sorry guys, I have to burn through this. I have tried recording this too many times. We gotta go. Okay, so next up, I wanted a fairy type, and I went ahead and I picked up Comfey. So, I'm sorry guys, this is going to be terrible, but I just have to get through this video. So, I'm going to name it Princess Leia. If you've ever seen Star Wars, then there you go. I love Comfey's capabilities. It has Aromatherapy, Calm Mind, Dazzling Gleam, Energy Ball. It doesn't get a whole lot of coverage, like I've said with most of these. They don't get a whole ton of coverage. It does get a little bit of flying coverage there and grass coverage. Taunt is very nice, and U-Turn, so further adding to my U-Turn and Volt Switch core. Synthesis there for reliable recovery if I wanted to run a physical set. Its physical attack is very good, but it does get play rough in there. Leech Seed is very nice, so I have a Leech Seed core if that's a thing. Very poor HP, but it has a nice speed stat, staggering with Hydreigon and my Thundurus Therian. Very nice special defense, a usable special attack, and 90 defense. Its triage ability is very nice because it gives priority to healing moves, and its defense is very usable coupled with a Calm Mind Sweeper. So, moving on to the next mon. I originally had picked up Sableye in the draft, but I later had swapped it out for like Dusknoir, it was like right in the middle of the picks, but I'm going to name it Mirage, but I named it because Ian gave me the suggestion. He's like, Dusknoir is a very good ghost type. I was like, alright, let's do it. I really like Dusknoir's capability. People think he's very passive just because he has 135 defense, 135 special defense. It's a very bad HP stat, but it has a very nice attack stat. I really like it, further giving me some nice priority. So I have 3 priority users here. It gets priority in the form of Sucker Punch and Shadow Sneak, and then it gets the Stab Shadow Ball. It gets all the elemental punches, gives me another Will-O-Wisper, it's like my 7th Tricker or something like that. Rock Slide, Pursuit is super nice. Psychic if I wanted to run the special set. It's a very poor special set, but coupled with Calm Mind, that could be interesting. It gets Destiny Bond, Focus Blast. Haze could be really cool, and Hex. So it has a couple options there, and Memento would be really awesome. So I was really happy to pick up Dusknoir. It further helped me swap into fighting types, which wasn't really a necessity at this point, but it gave me a spin blocker, which could be nice if I'm trying to do Hazard Stack with Ferrothorn. So going into the next round, I wanted an actual hazard removal in the form of Skuntank. I had used it last season and it is going to be named Pete. Plus this also gave me a better way to swap into Ghost and Dark types, and I really liked it. It gives me Defog, and I love my Poison Dark types because they're so good at trapping a Psychic and Fairy types and just absolutely ripping them to shreds. And it finally gives me a way to remove hazards, as I've said. Gets nice options like Crunch, Dark Pulse. It gets the coverage that it needs, like Fire Blast, Foul play is really nice. It's really only coverage is fire blast and play rough. Pursuit, shadow ball, shadow claw is really nice in there. Sucker punch, taunt, toxic. I really liked its options here. It gets coverage where it needs coverage, which is a very nice thing. But Pete's the Skun Tank is coming back. I'm not even making this up. You see it on your screen. It resets in a few minutes. We gotta go. It's got a really nice HP stat. Really good, well, a decent attack stat. Very poor defense stats, but coupled with some nice EV spreads that could be good and a nice speed stat. So going into the last round of the draft, I went ahead and I scooped up Wobbuffet. I was like, you know what? That's new toy syndrome. Let's go ahead and do it. And I'm going to be naming it Pop Tart. And I was happy to get Wobbuffet just because, yes, it is my third Psychic type. I don't really care though, just because it gets Shadow Tag. There's lowest move pool in the game, you know, whatever. It's mainly just gonna run counter, Mirror Coat, Encore, and Destiny Bond. If not, it'll throw in like Safeguard if it doesn't want to be status. But the nice thing about Wobbuffet is it can essentially take a Mon out of your opponent's team, and yeah, so or you can trap something to get something to set up. Like if I have a Combine Cresselia one week, I can send out Wobbuffet, trap something, get it to the point where it's set up fodder for Cresselia, and then I just absolutely win with Cresselia or something along those lines. So yeah, it's got a great HP stat, 190, and poor defenses, but with the HP stat it can take a lot of hits, and poor attack and speed, but it really doesn't need that. So, as you can see on your screen there, the server is probably going to reset in a moment. So, yeah, I'm sorry I had to burn through that, but this is not a joke. I'm not messing with you. I'm not. It's not a joke. This is real. And this is like Murphy's Law, because I've tried to record this like 5 times. The one time I get good time, it's good. Of course, if you're seeing this right now, it's a good recording. Well, in terms of the file not getting corrupted, but then this happens. Why? Why, Showdown? Why? But yeah, I'm really happy with my team. I can talk a little bit slower now just because I've gotten through all the Mons. I'm happy with my team. Do I wish it was more offensive? Yes. Do I think my 3 first offensive Mons are ridiculous and hard to swap into? Yes. But I've gone over the teams, and there are not a whole lot of teams that I can actually beat my wall core and beat my offensive core, and that's what my team is basically oriented around. But if I make trades, like I think the first to go, if anything, is going to be Wobbuffet, just because it is type redundancy. But I was at the end of the draft and I was like, you know what the heck, let's just get it. New toy syndrome, it's going to be cool. But if anything is to go, it's going to be the Wobbuffet, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm really happy with my draft. Let me know what you think down below. And again, I'm going to apologize again, but I'm sorry I had to speed through this. It's just I don't want to have to record this again. You have to understand, I don't want to have to record this again. I got my point across on most of the Mons. I was just talking a lot faster. But I'm very happy for this season. I think we can take it back to another championship, and we will see. We will see, my friends. But I'll see you guys all in the next video, which is going to be the team builder match for week 1. In week 1, it's gonna be a repeat of the semifinals of last year. We're gonna play TG, so out the gate we're starting off strong. So it's gonna be a toughie. He's got a great team, and I will see you guys all there. Please let me know what you think about my team. Give it like a grade rating, A through F. I can understand A's, I can understand F's. Like, it's all of how you look at my team. So I've seen people rate my team highly, and I've seen them rate my team poorly. It's all based on how you see it. So I want to know your guys' opinions, and thank you all for watching. I'm gonna stop rambling. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.